just say that I'm happy to be here tonight to talk on this motion because I think it's very important. And with sadness, I think I spoke on disability services, I think 23 times in the last Dáil, and then I spoke with the help of an activist who has since died without seeing the full implementation of the UN Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities. And I think that's where the sadness comes from. And I suppose maybe it's naivety as well, that I would think that probably we'll end up speaking on disability services 23 times in this Dáil and 23 times in the next Dáil, and unfortunately we'll still be in the same situation, and that's sad, I think, really. And that's no reflection on you or anything else. I mean, and you will do the best that you can with what you have, but I think overall as a state and as a government overall, we don't give people with disabilities the respect that they deserve. And I think sadly that has been seen through the implementation of the UN Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities, where we actually, I think it was it 17 or 18 years after we adopted the convention, it was actually implemented. That's an absolute disgrace, and I think we should all be ashamed of ourselves that that's the situation that we come into. Now, the last minister gave loads of perfect excuses and great excuses as to why that happened and everything like that there, and that it was necessary and all this kind of stuff. I don't believe it was necessary. I believe if we had been serious about it, we would have adopted and ratified the convention at the very first day, and then we would have worked to implement it. Instead, what we did was we said we were going to ratify it, and then we dawdled along, implementing, dawdled along, and every time it was raised, we got maybe a wee bit more and stuff like that there, till eventually we got to a situation where it could be implemented. And that's sad, and we shouldn't have to do that. And hopefully, I would like to see us get to a situation in this Dáil or in the next Dáil, and something that we actually do things because it's the right thing to do. Not because it's going to cost money or not because it's going to impact on the budget, but we actually do it because, as a society, it's the right thing to do. And I think that will make a huge difference if we get to that. Now, this motion is actually talking about the impact that COVID is having on services, and it is impacting hugely on people with disabilities and disability services. As you know, Minister, and as you all know, and we all know here in the House, but it's huge impact it's having. And I think if we're going to be in a situation, and this goes on to the wider thing and the dispute that's gone on over the last couple of days with NEFID and everything else like that as well, how we deal with this COVID is going to have a huge impact, and it's going to have an ongoing impact on people with disabilities, because sadly I think we're going to be dealing with this COVID and going into lockdowns and out of lockdowns for the next 3 or 4 years at the rate we're going. And are we going to be sitting here to that time waiting to get disability services back up and running through that? I don't think we can. I don't think we can wait that length of time, and it's vitally important that we don't, and that we get ourselves together and we actually do this now, because those are the people that are dependent on us to provide the services for them, and we're not actually doing it, and that's sad. And I hope we get past that and get beyond that we actually provide the services, because it is vitally important, and is a sign of us as a society of how we actually treat our weakest members of the society, and people that need our support to live the fullest of their lives. And that's all it's talking about. And we are restricting that in what we're doing now at the minute. We're restricting those people and being able to get the most out of their lives that they can. And we don't have to do that, and it doesn't have to happen. And it's on your watch, Minister, now, and hopefully it'll be dealt with in your watch, and it won't be able to move on to the next Minister, and hopefully we won't have to be standing here in the next Dáil talking about the same thing as well. And I hope we won't come to that, and that falls down to you, but we'll make sure that tries to make sure that it happens anyway.